Good morning and welcome to Nolan Financial Radio. My name is Chris McKinney from Nolan Financial Partners. If you'd like more information about what you hear during our show today, give us a call at 719-210-4242 or visit us online at our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. And while at our website, click on the radio page, check out our past shows, and subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Perhaps one of the most challenging aspects of planning for your retirement is building a strategy around how you are likely to live. So after all, no matter how well you eat and take care of yourself, nobody can be certain how long they're going to live. Some financial services professionals recommend to their clients that they plan to live until age 95 as a way to potentially avoid outliving their money. So, but building this strategy up to your 95th birthday, is that really an ideal way to prepare for retirement? Some experts aren't so sure. So during today's show, we're going to talk about the concept of planning to live until you're 95, what the data tells us about the wisdom of that strategy, and then maybe about how we go about it here at Nolan Financial Partners. We're going to examine some critical steps in what you need to do to plan for your retirement with your financial services professional, how you get that done. But I need to introduce you to my co-host, Tony Shore, who I have no doubt will be happily working on this show when he's 95.
Let's not get carried away there, Chris. I don't think so.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson. Danger.
That's a no. That's a no. Boom. Yeah. But hey, as long as my voice holds out, I'll be here. Who knows? I mean, if my voice sounds this good when I'm 95, I have no problem doing the show with you, but will you be here? That's the bigger question. When I'm 95, will you still be doing the radio show?
I'm planning to do it till I'm about 75.
Okay.
If you'll hang with me to 75, I'm with you.
I'll hang with you as long as you want to do the show, Chris, and as long as my voice holds out. So, but it does sound like you've got a great topic for us today because it honestly, you've got to be, I don't know how many of our listeners out there are familiar with the concept of building a strategy that presumes you're going to make it to at least 95. So I'm eager to hear what you have to say to us today. I know people are living longer and longer.
That's right. So a critical part of creating your financial plan is trying to figure out how long that plan has to last, right? And so that plan needs to cover your whole life. Well, if you plan to live to 95, then not that many people make it to 95. So you're probably not going to outlive your money. So I was recently reading a white paper by Healthview Services that determined that planning for 95 is so rare because few people actually reach 95. So retirees in their 60s that have at least one chronic condition, that those chronic conditions are going to reduce their projected life expectancy, and they're not going to make it to 95. And so that's what this white paper is discussing, is how some financial professionals are sticking with that 95 age, but maybe that's not the best strategy for every client.
Sure.
Now it's a good benchmark to help them prevent them from outliving their money, but maybe not for everybody.
Right. And I know that you and a lot of other advisors out there like to plan until 95, some even to 100. And
Sure.
they say, hey, even with those stats, a lot of professionals are sticking to that number. Why is that?
Well, the reason is most people don't make it to 95. There's only about 100,000 people have made it to 100. The expected age for a woman who's 65 right now, her actual age would be 90, right? And for a man, it's 88. So maybe those are more highly predictive numbers to go to. But if we say 95, then we know we have enough money.
There you go.
Part is, we have a little bit more money than we need, but maybe we need more money than we think.
There you go. Well, yeah, because you still
So-
plan to 95 for your clients
Yeah.
because of that fact, and because the number one fear people have is running out of money in retirement. And if you
It
can
really
plan,
is.
if you can plan to 95, the reason you do that, Chris, I would assume, is so they can sleep well at night and don't have to worry about it, right?
That's right. There's very few downsides in overfunding your retirement, right? Having too
Right.
much money in retirement.
Because you can
is-
always leave it to
oh.
your family, or
Exactly. You can leave it to either a charity that you're in love with, or leave it to your family that you're in love with, or vice versa, whichever
Yes.
one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
or if you're not in love with your family, you can always just use the name Anthony Shore on the form.
Anthony
I always
Shore.
tell people
Okay,
that,
I'll
yeah.
remember that. Anthony Shore. What's your Social Security and birthday? I need that information. So yeah. So you need to have a good estate plan. That's a part of it. And that's something we always make sure is we get on all the documents that we work on. We make sure we have good beneficiaries for our clients, so that when the money comes out of their investment portfolio, it goes to exactly where they want it to go. Right now, there doesn't have to wait for probate. It goes. So that's what we like, is to have a really good estate plan and good beneficiaries on every kind of document that you can have beneficiaries on. We get them on there. So that's really important to do.
Sure. Sure.
So another thing that this white paper mentioned was that it may be just too cautious to have 95, because most people aren't going to live there.
Yeah.
But and then they interviewed a couple of financial service professionals, and the guy was been in for 20 years, and he's only had one client that lived past 90. Well, most of my clients are under 90, but I haven't had any clients that reached 90 yet. I have some clients that are getting really close.
Sure.
Some of them are still quite healthy. Now, I have a client, and he's in his 70s, and his parents are still alive. So
Yeah.
how long should we plan for that person when their parents are still alive and they're 70? That means their parents are well into their 90s. They're approaching that 100. So we move that target further along.
Sure. My grandfather lived to 101. My aunt lived to 103 on my dad's side, and a lot of people have lived to 100 on my dad's side. He's 81 now. So
we're all set up for you to keep working until you're 75, because
otherwise
you have to save a lot of money.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to keep working. Yeah.
So anyway, that longevity is foretold by your health and foretold by your family. Those are good markers to go with. From everything that I've read, and it's a very important thing for me, for every financial service professional, to have an idea of, okay, what things are going to affect how old my client is going to be when they pass. I can tell you, in that same white paper, it starts to detail out some of the health problems that shorten people's lives. And know what the worst one is? I bet you don't know.
That shorten people's lives.
Yep.
You'd think diabetes or cancer.
Diabetes. Yep. Number one.
Diabetes. Yeah.
Cancer's number two.
Yeah. I can't believe diabetes has overtaken cancer. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's overtaking cancer. The thing about cancer is we're starting to really get good about alleviating people's problems if it's not cancer associated with tobacco use.
Right.
Now, if it's tobacco use cancer, no, but the other cancers, they're getting pretty good about helping people out with those.
Yeah.
And that's continuing to improve.
If you
But,
catch it early enough, cancer is not going to
right,
necessarily shorten your life that much, or there's a chance it might not now. But
right.
there's, it's going to, your life isn't going to be the same if you have to do chemo and take all these different things. But
Yeah.
I'll tell you
It's not
what,
stress on your body.
if they don't catch it until it gets to a certain stage, like stage 4, then it's terminal. But yeah.
Right. So, but yeah, so those are the two things. So, and then what we kind of have an obesity problem here in the United States. I think
The doctors say I've got what they call a bit of a weight problem.
I fit in that category. I need to lose about 30 or 40 pounds.
Yeah, I'm on a
like,
diet myself. I've lost a little
wow,
bit, but I need to
how am I
lose some more.
how am I going to get down to 180? It's going to be brutal.
So you're not able to eat anymore. You just have to stop eating. Is that?
We're doing intermittent fasting. So
I've heard that works if you can stick with it.
And so when we first started, I lost 15 pounds in the first 3 months. So that's a good schedule, losing about 5 pounds a month. And then we went on vacation and I gained 5 pounds.
Yep.
And then I lost the 5 pounds, and I went on vacation. I gained 5 pounds.
Yeah, the vacation and traveling, it's tough, isn't it? When you travel and have to eat out.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's hard to do intermittent fasting, when you get that free breakfast at the hotel, that's wonderful. And then, you get hungry during the day because you're so active. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. And then you want to go out to the wonderful restaurants that you'll never get to see again.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to financial planning.
Sure.
Age 95 and what to do, how to kind of think about it. So I read Pew Research Foundation statistic that says that that people that reach 100 years expected quadruple over the next 3 decades. So that means 100,000 this year is going to quadruple to 420,000 by 2054.
Wow.
But 420,000 is not a lot of people when we start looking at how many people are going to be over age 65. That's 82 million people. So it's
out of
really
82 million. You're right. You're right. 420 is small when you think it's out of 82 million.
82 million. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not even 1%.
Yeah.
So it's a really small percentage that will reach 100, but we are seeing that the longevity is growing. People are starting to live longer. So that's nice, but that means we get to plan for more, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like I always say, Chris, you know what I say? The good news is we're living longer. The bad news is we're living longer.
That's right.
Yeah. So before we go on, I think one of the key steps, we're going to talk about how this affects your finances and what you need to do as the show goes on. But one of the main things you're going to need to do is have a plan in place and work with a financial advisor. That way you'll avoid costly mistakes. You'll have a plan that will get you to where you need to be in retirement. So how can our listeners and viewers out there set up that no charge, no obligation consultation?
To receive that complimentary consultation, give us a call at 719-210-4242. Go out to nolanfinancialpartners.com to get to learn more about us. But give us a call at 719-210-4242. We have some consultations reserved in our schedule each week so that we can get those set up. We have a limited number of those each week. So please give us a call, 719-210-4242.
All right, sounds great. And on today's show, you've been talking about whether planning to live until 95 is a good way to prevent yourself from outliving your money. I would say
Yep,
it is, but then the stats say the majority of people aren't going to live that long. So
that's right.
this is a good thing to talk about. What do you have for us next, Chris?
So the next thing is we're going to talk about is key steps to getting prepared for retirement, right? Getting your finances in line to achieve your retirement goals.
Sure.
Um, so, what do I need to do to create savings? How do I do that? What is my target, right? What is my goal? I don't know what my goal is. Why should I know what my goal is? Well, guess what? You come in, we'll help you create a plan, and the first part of that is figuring out a goal. So what we like to do is figure out, so your expenses now will tell us more about your expenses in the future, right? So we start with what you're expending now. So we create a spending plan for retirement by looking at our past. So the first thing we're going to ask you to do is create a spending plan from your history. So look at your last couple of months, write it up on a spreadsheet. We'll give you a spreadsheet. It's easy to just put down. You just get out your credit card and some of your bank statements, and you just fill it out. The data is already there. Now, if you said, well, we went to the opening at the Ford Amphitheater and watched One Republic, and so we're not going to put that in there because that was a very expensive night, and we're not going to include that. Well, guess what? In retirement, you're going to also do those kind of things. You're going to
Right.
fill your time. So leave those things in there. Leave these things. It's not just about your monthly, water bill, utility bill, and your mortgage, those kind of things. It's also how you like to spend your money. So those are things that you got to make sure you get into your spending plan. Don't take things out just because you think they're outliers. Are they really going to be something that you do more of in retirement? Maybe you need to add more to that spending plan for the future. So that's the one things that we'll talk about and when we meet is how to really create that spending plan for retirement. And once we have a spending plan for retirement, then we can figure out, okay, how long am I going to live based on our previous talk? How much money am I going to spend each year? Okay, this is how many years I got planned for. Okay, now we have a goal. So we just multiply, say it's 30 years of retirement. Say I need $150,000 in retirement. Then now we've got a nice goal. And so now we can start figuring out how to save for that. What kind of risk levels we need to take to get to that retirement goal. So, and then how much money we need to save, right?
Right.
Because putting money in a 401k is great, but does that meet your full retirement goal? So you need to figure out if it will or not. Then if it doesn't, then you need to start adding to your savings for somewhere else because the 401k is not going to get it done.
Right. You
Now,
need a Roth IRA or an IRA or
that's right.
something.
Some kind
or
of personal retirement that you
plan.
control.
Yeah.
You could put money into
Like a fixed index annuity or an
fixed index
IRA.
annuity,
Yeah.
IRA. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it depends if you want tax-free, tax deferral, those kind of things. That's what we talk about when we're talking about retirement.
Yeah. That's what you're
monies.
here for, Chris, is to help
That's
people
right.
figure that out.
Because taxes are one of the biggest drains on our income and our retirement income as well. So we want to get those deferred, the tax-free worked into our overall plan.
Yeah. Yeah. The tax buckets, we've talked about that on past shows. Our listeners can go back and look for the shows on
Yeah.
taxes that we really dig into that, but that plays a part into this planning and how long you live. That's how long you'll be paying taxes. So it does have to be part of the calculation.
So the other thing that we're going to discuss when we sit down and talk to our clients is what about something bad happened, something financially devastating? What if it's maybe as simple as I need new windows in my house, and so then I need $20,000 to replace the windows. I had a dental issue, and my insurance only covers a small portion, so I need 30 grand to fix all my teeth. Or I'm going into long-term care, I'm going to need $100,000 a year. So these are the kind of things that we'll discuss, and we'll start trying to create things to mitigate those problems, right? We'll talk about having your sleep at night money around, and we'll talk about, risk and what we're going to do about that risk, how much of the risk we're going to accept and how much we're not. And so it's knowledge is key, right? So that's what we're doing, is creating knowledge for our finances so that they'll be robust through retirement.
Yeah. And another part of this, what you're talking about here, Chris, is how unique each person's situation is. So they shouldn't look at their, their brother-in-law's situation or their coworker situation or their neighbor or their buddy down the street. What they did isn't necessarily going to work for you. You need your own unique plan. And you have your own, nobody can predict how long you're going to live, but you need a plan that will ensure you don't run out of money in retirement. And that's going to be different than your neighbor's plan or your best friend's plan, right?
That's right. So I met with a couple of guys yesterday, and they still have jobs. They're still working, and they weren't putting money into a health savings account, but they're older. They're in their 60s.
Sure.
And so they're not putting money into a health savings account. Well, so a lot of people don't understand what that is. And so, I described it to them, and they said, "Oh my gosh, I got to get money in my health savings account."
Yeah.
So there are a lot of things like that, simple IRAs, SEP IRAs, solo 401ks, that you really need to go see a financial services professional to get advice about, so you can understand how those things are going to affect you now and then through your retirement. And so there's lots of good financial tools that you may not have heard about, or you may not understand how to use, right? And so we can help you figure out how to use those things.
Yeah, that's huge. HSAs are a miracle account because it's the only tax designated account in the IRS tax code that allows you to put money in tax free. So you get a tax break on it when you put it in. It never gets taxed. You get to take that amount off your taxable income. So that's a benefit going in. But when it comes out, it's also not taxed, and it grows within that account tax free. And people say, well, it's a health account. It's only for healthcare. Well, the thing is you can put in a lot of money into that account over the years while you're working. It has to be while you're working, and you have to have a high deductible health insurance plan typically through your employer to get it. But what it does is you can put extra money in there and leave it in there. And then in retirement, you're going to spend $200,000, $300,000 on medical costs over the course of your retirement. Most people do. And then part of that is tax free. That's really going to help your tax situation in retirement, isn't it?
That really is.
And if you did that.
If you did that, and for the gentleman that I was having a discussion with, they're military retirees.
Oh, and
so they're always going to be in that third or fourth tax bracket. So they're always going to be in that 22 to 28%
because of their taxable pensions.
Because of their taxable pensions.
Yeah.
So if they can pull money from an HSA that's tax-free, tax-deferred, tax-free, then basically it's a 28% savings on that cost.
Yeah, and people are thinking, but I can only use it on healthcare costs, and I'll have Medicare. So why will I need it? Oh, you'll need it. There's still premiums, deductibles, copays, and things that Medicare doesn't cover. And long-term care, and it can be used for the list of things it can be used for is interesting. And I know they've tried to expand it And I think it will, depending on, who's in office. It could get expanded too to cover more
That's right.
over the counter items too.
Well, and then if you reach a situation where you don't think you're going to use it for health care savings, they recently passed some laws that you can convert it into a personal IRA.
Yeah.
Personal
Now, and that would
personal
make
IRA.
it taxable when you
It
take that
would.
money out, but it still gets to go into your IRA and
Yep.
grow tax-free until you remove it. So
That's
that
right.
is beneficial, but I can't imagine anybody in retirement not needing it for. I don't think you'd ever be able to save enough in your HSA to where it would be more than you'll need for healthcare costs.
Well, yeah, but I have had some clients. If you get a terminal diagnosis and
Mhm.
you're not going to be able to spend all that money
Yeah,
because
that's true.
because
Okay,
everything's
that's a
already
good point.
pried out,
Yeah,
and then you want that money to go to somebody so that they can
sure.
spend it.
Yeah.
We've converted for some
Good
people.
point. That's a really good point. I never thought of
So,
that. That is really
yeah,
good. But
those
HSAs are great.
situations.
I think I've talked to other top advisors across the country, and the really smart ones like you, Chris, always say HSA. What's my favorite account for retirees? HSAs.
HSA,
But
yeah.
you have to. They're tricky. I mean, not everybody's going to be able to qualify or get one. That's part of the problem. But they can be tricky, but it's just
Yep.
part of your healthcare plan. You should ask where you work, hey, how can I get an HSA and get this started and start putting money into it? And you don't lose that money each year like a flex account where you have to spend it in the year you put it in. This will last
Yeah,
your lifetime.
that's right. That's right. It
Yeah.
lasts forever. So it doesn't,
Well, your
there's
lifetime
no,
anyway.
there's no way. Yes, you're right, fun, but there's no RMDs associated with an HSA.
Yeah. No required minimum distributions, no
So you can,
taxes.
no
Yeah.
taxes.
It's
So
the
yeah,
only account in the IRS tax code that allows you account designation that allows you to do that
right.
tax free. I mean, on both sides, you get tax
That's right.
breaks when you put it in, you get tax free when you take it out, and it grows tax free. I wish they'd make the Roth like that, where you don't have to pay taxes putting it in. Wouldn't that be great if IRAs were that way?
Well, traditional IRAs would go away.
The
Nobody
government
would
would
invest.
the government would probably go broke at that point. Everybody would be
Yeah,
putting all their
yeah.
money in that.
Well, yeah. So right now we have limits on how much you can get in to
Yeah.
a Roth. So it wouldn't. I
Yeah.
don't think they'd go broke because you can't get enough in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we're out of time for today's show. It flew
Oh,
by. Great show,
did.
Chris. Let our listeners know how they can get a hold of you.
So they can reach us at 719-210-4242. Give us a call and we'll set up that complimentary consultation. We have some limited appointments on our books for those. So give us a call, 719-210-4242. Go to our website, nolanfinancialpartners.com. You can listen to our past episodes there. Just click on the little radio page there, and then you can sign up for Apple Podcast and Spotify and listen to our podcast as well. So give us a call, 719-210-4242.
All right. That does it for today's episode of Nolan Financial Radio with our host, Chris McKinney.
Join us again soon for another show, Nolan Financial Radio.